if you hit that current, it's like side on, you end up with the line drifting, you end up with this bevel in the line. But if you hit it to a point where it's just catching the current and drifting down to the side of that mainstream, you get sort of, it's all about natural presentation, basically. You know, and like that there, you see it's just floating down with the water, same speed. It's all about the same speed. If it starts going too fast for the current, it'll put them off, you know. It's all about a natural presentation. But at the same time, you can see the line speeding up before I lifted the rod. That's just I'm just taking in the slack. You can't have too much slack. Sometimes you end up with a line that goes like an S, you know, and that you can deal with that. But if there's too much slack, A, it'll drag, and B, if someone takes it, you've got all the slack to take before you hook into the fish. Before you strike the fish, you've got to deal with all that line first, you know. The rod's an 8 foot 3/4 weight Grays. I've been using that rod for 10 years now. It's done me proud. Cortland silk line, and that's the tippet. I've got I didn't go, like, you get these. I understand it, but I don't think you need it in a lot of cases. But you get these, like, your tippet goes from in diameter, so it starts at a certain diameter, and then you tie in another diameter, and you tie in another diameter. It's all about the presentation. I find all you need is quite a heavy, like I use 5 pound breaking strain. I don't know what diameter is, but I use that onto quite a fine tippet, about 3 pound, 4 pound. That's what I was using at the beginning, and then I moved into 3 pound, and it was still sufficient enough, you know. But it's just a balance. When you're casting the line, the weight is on the line, and it's like, sometimes if you've just got one, like say a strip, a tap, like a leader about what, 8 foot, it's just like 8 foot, 10 foot, it's just like 5 foot nylon. You cast it, and what happens is your fly line is straight, and then at the end, your tippet, your leader just comes in a bundle, and it's all about having the straight cast. Because if it all comes down this big bird's nest, the fish are not going to touch it, because they can see it, you know. That's midge. They're a bit small. But they didn't get me wrong. Like the trout in that elite midge, there's about 2,500 different species of midge. Daddy Longlegs is a midge, and all that sort of thing. You caught it really well though, because like I couldn't really see it like that. You couldn't really see the midges hovering along the top of the water. Oh, there's a landing net. The chest waders. You kind of, well, you don't need chest waders. You don't, like, to be honest, in a water like that, you probably do, because it's quite a deep water. There's a lot of river comes down there, but the main essentials is a landing net on your back. And the reason you want it on your back is because you don't want to be holding it all the time. You don't want to be carrying it about like in your hand when you need something, like, you know. It's like you have it on your back. That's the magnetic releases are amazing, and the wooden landing nets are amazing as well, just because they're light in the float. Barbless hooks are always a must. I wouldn't think about using barbed hooks ever now. It's like there's no need for them. Well, like the conservation of the fish, you know what I mean? It's like if you don't, if everybody was to fish the way that you can fish in these rivers and catch the fish and kill the fish, then there's got to be no fish left. scanning the water. When it's like that, you've really got to look close. Any sort of movement. You're not just looking for movement on the surface. It's like there's loads of wee telltale signs. Like, I'll wait and see. I'll wait for those fish to be feeding on the surface before I'll cast to them, you know. Normally what I do is you start at the bottom of a pool and you cast within about maybe 30 feet. You start at the bottom of the pool and you work your way up until you start seeing fish feed or whatever, you know. It's like sometimes it's like there'll be a few trout or a few grayling or trout at the bottom of the pool that you didn't even know that are there. Like here, that's basically that you see me mending the line as well. That just gives you a wee bit longer in the water. Basically, when you're casting that line up and that line starts to drift with the current, you can mend that line by lifting the rod up and just slacking the line a little bit, and then that gives you a wee bit more. With the nymph, it's more about covering vast amounts of water quickly. So it's like you'll have 3 casts, quite a short vicinity away from you, and then you walk up 2 or 3 feet, and then you try it again, and it's like, and you know, try and get into a different angle so you get a different drift, well, a different swim basically, not a drift.
What's going on here?
That was up. When it comes to fighting a fish, it's like you don't pull it, you know, you give it what it wants and you tire it out. As soon as you start fighting against that fish, you're going to lose it. So it's, you use the line and the rod. If that fish wants to go run, then you let it run, you know, you don't fight against that. I remember that fish could hardly even fit in the land today. It was a big grayling. It doesn't even look that big in there, but that was definitely one of the biggest grayling that I've caught, without a doubt. Oh, without a doubt, aye. And they're native to that river as well. See, the grayling that you catch in the Waterleaf and they catch in the Esk, they were introduced there back in the 80s. And the Annan, they're stunning fish. And the Annan, they're native. But they're stunning fish. It just sat there for ages in my hand as well. I was just like, no, I don't want to go. And then took off. I didn't think you got that on film, when it took off.
No, I thought it was going to sit there for a while, so I touched it off.
Like,